Welcome back to HBO Girls Rewatch.
I'm A. Ritthaler.
And I'm E. Lazarus.
And
That's so tongue-in-cheek to do a D. August.
wait, I don't get it. Isn't D. August just a name?
No, I think his first name is probably something else, and then they did it a cool way by making it D. August.
Oh, so yeah. Well, this is an amazing way for our listeners to find out my last name. Ritthaler. No one can say it. Nobody understands it.
Did you say it right?
I think when I just said it just now, I did say it wrong. If we're being completely upfront. Guys, we're so excited to be here with you on the pod. I don't know if you can tell, but we are slowly adding more and more photos to this back wall. I'm becoming besties with the guy at Postnet. But we're so excited to be in the
What
new
did you
space.
say? Post-nut or net?
Net. But it could be Postnet. But with me,
we've never gone sexual like that in this
with
podcast.
me, like it's not post-nut, obviously.
We've never gone the non-orgasm girl.
This is a sex negative podcast, and I've always said that. We're dissecting a show about sex and girls and rock and roll, and it's like we don't do any of them.
No, literally, I can't get this off my brain, so I'm just gonna say it. But my level 2 improv class.
What happened?
Nothing big, but it's like that. Just taking level 2 improv class in itself is a really big task. And as someone who took 5 years of improv, you would have to know my experience going into this.
It's so crazy to have done improv comedy in Canada as a 19-year-old and have Evan be excited about improv comedy for the first time in what feels like lifetimes, like post-era, after Christ. After COVID.
I have an even better topic if we want to talk about something else.
Okay, yeah, let's switch it up immediately on everybody.
Well, okay, so I think something that's always a big conversation on this podcast is that everyone thinks we're so incredibly stupid, which is not invalid, but because we breathe and we also don't talk in the right manner, apparently.
I don't even abbreviate that much.
I breathe a lot.
Totally.
And that's totally part of my personality. But I was kind of saying this the other day where it's like I'll abbreviate so much, but then sometimes I'll just throw a word in there that's like 8 syllables long just to like disorient someone.
Yeah, I'm constantly disoriented by you. I'll tell you that much. Well, Evan, you haven't even brought up my haircut.
Oh yeah, how was Chinatown? How was the haircut? How was that haircut / blowout?
So I literally went to therapy this morning. I was in such an amazing mood. We got nothing done because I was just kikiing with her. I'm obsessed with my girl Jillian. But then afterwards I was like, I guess I will bike across the Williamsburg Bridge on this sunny day to Bleacher's album from 2014 and kind of go get a haircut in Chinatown at that TikTok place that went viral for giving blowouts for $12 or whatever. So I went and they know me there now. I have a punch card, and they're like, oh, you just want to blow out. And I'm like, actually, I want to cut today. And the smiles electrified on their faces. The guy who gave me my haircut was so epic sauce. He was trying so hard to make my bangs sit perfectly. I felt like a little princess. And it was only $55.
Best deal I've ever heard. I also I have this image of you in that salon chair and you're like, you didn't open up to your therapist at all that day, but like you're in the salon chair and you're like telling your haircut person your whole life story. Well, every single part.
The amazing part about that place is nobody there talks, but they are always playing Taylor Swift. They played all of Fearless bonus tracks and then Evermore. That was what was happening.
Because I go to Queer Barber. It's like 4 gay guys in one barber shop on Grand Street in Williamsburg. And I literally told my barber this. It's like every time I go to barber shop, I do view it as a competition for me to be the best person in the chair, giving the best conversation. Because I'm like, you're talking to 25 people a day.
You
you're
better
doing 30
win.
minutes. I'm like, I better win this conversation
and
thing.
It's like they are keeping tabs.
No, why I got so excited? Because at the end of our haircut.
Because they followed you back on Instagram?
Followed me back on Instagram, but from haircut account. But also at the end of the haircut, they're like, you're funny.
When you're a hairdresser, when you're they them hairdresser thinks you're funny, you're doing something right.
He hairdresser really came from a neighboring town from where I grew up. It's an
perfect.
Amazing story.
Okay, well, enough about us. We do have such a big episode to dive into. I'm so excited for our guests. We're deciding to kind of intro them in person instead of being like, we talked about you before and then crossed us off. Don't you think that'll be more fun for them?
Yeah, I'm like, it's actually embarrassing the other way around, right?
Yeah, we're like, and they're here.
I think it's cool. Like, I want to see us try to get their names right in front of them.
Yeah, no. Okay, it's going to be amazing.
It's a harrowing task. Like, I only am so confident about people's names right before they step in the door, and then they get through our door, and I'm like, I've lost all sense of
As
self.
soon as somebody cool sits on the couch, I'm speechless, but it's an audio medium, so I have to get my act together. It's so much pressure. But anyways, yes, today we are diving into season 4, episode 3, female authors. Also, I realized every single thing I said about last episode was wrong. It's not called triggered, it's called triggering. So I have to go through and rename everything before it goes live tomorrow.
Wait, but that's kind of trigger.
But that kind of trigger. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Oh my God, look who's here.
LOL.
You know her from Ride the Podcast. You know her from being on every stand-up show in this goddamn town. You know her for also being bi-coastal to London.
Yeah.
Kind of
I do
perfect.
everything. And
Guys,
she has her show January 27th, Bell House, her half hour.
Give it up for Mary Beth Barone.
I can tell they're giving it up for me.
Yeah.
I can't hear it, but I know I did not know that was a camera. I thought that was like a fun shelf that you like could hang, like a floating shelf, but I wish everyone could see what I'm looking at.
It's a green iPad.
It's very okay, but you learn something new.
No,
I know.
yeah.
It's
People are
cool.
always like, we've seen your clips. Like, you must have like a full setup. And I'm like, it is my iPad with a mason jar holding it up.
That's what's really cool about it. I love the use of, and the mason jar has some water in it, which goes into my theory about how all women love to drink out of a big jar.
Yes.
Mm.
That's so real.
What is it
wanted to make
reminiscent
sure.
of?
What is it reminiscent of?
Yeah. How did we get there?
I just see all girls drinking out of a big jar.
No, it is so true. I
They
didn't
just
think
like to
about
have one.
mason jar culture at all until I moved in with Amelia, and now I can't stop. I'm drinking out a big jar actually today.
See, it's contagious.
I served you in a big jar, right?
Yeah, well, I actually
Oh, it's
got
a big
I got
cup.
a glass, but you know what? I feel like this is probably for your guests. Mason jars for family,
Yeah.
and then the glasses are for guests, which is fine.
Oh, but
perfect.
At
that's
least you have
actually
a
exactly what's
system.
going on.
Yeah. So here we
Bye.
are.
Too smart for us.
I'm always thinking.
I love it. Well, we're so excited to have you on the podcast. We've both been longtime fans.
Thank
Absolute.
you.
This is kind of the biggest day of our lives.
Yeah.
Whoa. Okay. Sorry.
No
Don't
pressure.
put that much pressure on me.
No pressure.
Well, I have to just let everyone listening know that I was supposed to do a previous episode and I had to cancel. And you were very lovely about it because I got some bad news. And I was like, I just think if I do the podcast today, it's like not going to be cute and fun. And I just wanted to bring my best for you guys.
No, we
Yeah.
were honestly like, this girl's so nice for wanting to bring her best self into
I-
our stage.
I have to. I mean, that's what performance is all about. But I feel like it's good to just be like, I actually can't sometimes when you can't. And I feel like Hannah Horvath she kind of originated the language.
Oh, 100%.
Don't commit if you can't follow through.
Yeah, I mean, boundaries are so real.
They are.
I know. She's really like, she was kind of the original canceller of plans. She was kind of cozy girl.
Totally cozy
Yeah,
girl.
she's totally cozy girl. I love her. I mean,
Yeah.
of course.
I'm
that's
glad we get
really
to revisit
implied.
her whenever we want. Thanks to Max, formerly known as HBO.
Wait,
They
so
really
what is
do
in the
mix it
third
up.
iteration? It was HBO, then HBO Max, and then just Max.
Let's not forget about HBO Go and HBO Now,
Of
which
course.
are
Oh my God,
actually
of
predecessors
course.
of HBO Max and now Max.
And it is crazy to think that these all happened within 5 years.
I know. I mean, sometimes when I look at those like the icons on the Apple TV that don't go anywhere anymore, it's just nice to like think about where we started, which was with
Yeah.
HBO
Right.
Now.
I mean, I still have the HBO Max app, and I type it in online. I'm hoping it's going to redirect me, but it won't actually bring you to the Max website, which is ridiculous.
I have a lot of notes for, and I'm going to start a podcast about this, about how to make streaming platforms user friendly. Everyone tries to reinvent the wheel. I feel like we sort of know what works now, and we should just autoplay. Please, everyone should have autoplay on their streaming platform.
Oh my God.
It's harder than ever to press
You
a button.
have to make a UX podcast.
I literally,
People would
well, you
kill
know, I
for
used to
UX
work.
podcasts.
I like have had real jobs before I
Mhm.
started comedy and destroyed my life,
Mhm.
and I have a lot of ideas about how to improve.
Wait,
and
did you work in UX?
well, I worked at a few different startups. One was in
Oh.
retail technology, so it was like how to build like point of sale systems and stuff.
Mhm.
And I have a lot of, and I'm going to write a hospitality book.
Yeah,
which-
okay, thank God.
That's part of my second act of my career.
Oh my God.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
there's so much to look forward to with you.
There's a lot, yeah. Down the line. Right now, not as much happening, but down the line, yeah.
Not as much happening. LOL. Okay, biggest liar in this town.
Sorry.
Let's dive into Girls. Where were you when Girls first came out?
So I believe, and can you remind me the year?
2012.
Okay. So I wanted to confirm 2012 is actually the year that I moved to New York City. So I dropped out of college after sophomore year at Boston College, and I moved to New York, and I had big dreams. And I didn't know exactly where those dreams would take me, but that's when I started working at a startup, it was very small at the time. Now it's like a big company, but
The real.
it was the real. It was all sort of happening like as I was experiencing New York as like a 20-year-old. I wasn't even 21 yet, so it was kind of like huge for me.
Yeah, of all the guests we've asked, I got the most chills from that answer.
Yeah,
and like that is so specific. You're really in it, watching it week by week, being like, okay, this is what I do tomorrow.
This is me and my life. And then I slept with someone who kind of looked like Charlie, so that was crazy. That was one of my coworkers.
People are screaming at that's the biggest crush, honestly, we're finding in this. Like, people love Adam, that's a given, that's contrived, but as we get older, we're finding out everyone's a Charlie fan.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy to see how your tastes change as the show goes on. But I lived in Chinatown when I first moved here before it became Times Square. So there's a lot of history with me and girls.
So Marnie coded. Wait, you did a Shoshana arc because you interviewed and worked at a fashion company, which Shoshana's kind of doing this episode, and Marnie kind of lives in Chinatown / Times Square. So LOL, you kind of really did the experience full on.
You have no idea my Shoshana arc, because I actually, after freshman year of college, I got a job working in PR at Ann Taylor.
Shut the fuck up.
Yep.
That's gonna be big when we talk about it.
I lived it. So I just didn't want to forget that detail because it really jumped out at me, and I was like, whoa, I guess I'm just all the girls. You can't really box me in. I kind of have shades of everyone.
Right.
Well, you have cheekbones like Jessa.
Thank you.
You lived in Marnie's apartment verbatim.
Pretty much.
You have Shoshana's job. And
I'm a writer.
Yeah,
and you're
right.
writer.
So
Hospitality.
It's hospitality, my big platform.
It's all there. Did you binge watch it all? Like, were you tuning in every Sunday?
I was definitely tuning in every Sunday. And then I actually did a big rewatch. I've done multiple rewatches of Girls, Mad Men, and Entourage, and of course Sex and the City, almost all HBO programming. But Girls, I most recently rewatched about 8 months ago. I finished.
Oh my god!
Well, I hear you just got an EGOT, so you that's your own rewatch EGOT as well.
Exactly. Yeah, you have to have sort of like your list of the greats. So yeah, it was really crazy because there's a few things I've watched more recently that I feel are more relevant even than when they came out. The movie Her is one example with Joaquin Phoenix and Scarlett Johansson. And then I just felt like Girls somehow, like it was so relevant then, and it's just like even more relevant now.
100%.
I feel like when everybody was like, she's ahead of her time, the time is now.
The time is now.
This was the time.
Well,
society had to catch up.
Yeah, and
I need you to fact check this for me, because in Her, there's this one scene they're in the elevator and they're like, you know what? You shouldn't drink your fruit. You shouldn't have it blended. And was that ahead of its time?
I'm sure. I mean, look, movies and TV are there to like hold a mirror up to society. And we learn stuff from it all the time.
Literally. I can't stop thinking. It's like I watched that whole movie. My one takeaway was like, don't blend your fruit.
And it's true.
And
you've heard this since then?
I've heard it since then, and they're still talking about it in 10,000 years. Hell.
Don't blend your fruit.
I can't believe, like, I used to work at a vegan restaurant in college, and I was like, I'm just drinking juice. Like, I'm a juice girl. And then it's like 2 years after I left, I found out that juice is bad. And I said, fuck.
That's all you can do is just say fuck.
Yeah.
And also vitamins, like, you shouldn't. Like, vitamin powder is like a farce.
It's not bioavailable.
It doesn't enter your bloodstream.
Don't go into my room.
You pee out all of it. And that's what's...
It's
I am going to go in your room when we're done. I want to see all the powders.
Swivel like a lazy Susan.
I have a lazy Susan of pills.
Pills are fine. It's the powder.
No, there's powder in pills.
Okay, then you need the raw stuff.
Yeah, but I'm kind of just, it doesn't matter. I'm just doing magnesium right now.
Okay. You're on a journey.
Oh, I didn't know about this.
I just have the pills, but they're for display only.
Right.
Now this is our next segment. It's so fun. It's called Minute to Win It.
We are gonna synopsize, real word, the full episode in 1 minute all together. Each of us get 20 seconds. Do you think you can do it?
Okay, yeah. And then
I have something really fun to do. I just got this new phone case with sticks here.
Yeah.
So what if I put the timer on the TV?
We won't be able to see it, but I like it.
But it's a fun visual for me.
Yeah, do it.
I really want to just do it because it's so fun to stick this thing to.
Look, sometimes it's about the experience in the room.
And we've never done it under a minute.
Okay. All right. No, we're going to do it. I'm like huge, like goals-based person.
Right.
So.
It's so fun. You can
You better get your butt back over
my
here.
God. And away we go.
Jessica's got a big fat ass, and she's a big fat liar because she's seen Adam every single day. Shoshana's too good for Ann Taylor Loft. I think not. And she's walking out of there without her resume in hand. Hannah's a little sad, but she has too much free time on her hands.
And so does Elijah. Elijah is fully making friends with the Iowa community. He's like, Hannah, I can't hang out. I have 3 friends to go visit, but I'll meet you at the poet party. They go to the poet party, and Hannah just is not kikiing correctly with her peers, and she's devastated. She's like, you guys, I can roast you right back. And then she does, and everybody hates it, and then she worms out of there.
Yeah, it kind of lands with a thud. And while all of this is going on, Marnie and Desi are pitching their album at a record label. But when the record label finds out that they're not actually together, it's drama. And they decide, actually, you don't meet our boss, Marcos. So she confides in Ray about this. And he says Desi should be prioritizing you over Clementine. And then she finally puts her foot down right outside the Ann Taylor offices in Times Square.
Literally.
Oh, and we can't miss this note. Jessica and Adam get arrested, and Marnie fucks Ray. LOL.
Again. She won't stop.
That was close. We did go over by a few seconds, but I feel like we did good
we really
work.
got everything.
And that was like a collaboration.
Well, we had to do Lena justice.
It was teamwork.
Yeah.
That was really fun for me. Thank you for letting me do that.
This episode immediately was so sad about Jessa.
Yeah, I mean, Jessa sort of can't get out of her own way. I've seen it a million times, especially in the comedy space. You see people who are so talented and you want nothing but the best for them, but unfortunately they just are their inner saboteur. That's what I think of when I think of Jessa.
Right. Some of the most talented people in this town also hate themselves the most too.
Well, almost always.
Almost always.
Most especially. I feel like anytime me and Evan go to a party, people drunk cry at us and we're like, you're amazing, believe in yourself, and they're like, I just don't.
Yeah. And then it's kind of crazy because they do get on stage and they hold a microphone and they speak their thoughts into it. So it's this interesting sort of like contradiction, inner turmoil.
I know. We have lost self-hate, but my therapist told me I have to look in the mirror every day and now scream, I love myself. And I'm doing it, and it's really helpful. Honestly, it's so fun. You put a post-it note on there.
That was the treatment plan.
Order.
It's magnesium. I tell myself I love myself, and I can't look at bright lights past 5 p.m.
And you're cured. I
and
love
I'm cured.
that.
It solved everything. I don't have problems.
Wait, you didn't text me that you were sobbing 4 minutes ago.
I'm like, do you guys even live together? I feel like you're not communicating.
Well, she can't hear me because our floors are so far apart.
Okay.
I will say our old apartment, we were so close. We had to see each other every second. And now it's like Evan lives downstairs. I live upstairs.
Yeah.
I never see them.
I was sobbing so loud because I was hoping she'd come downstairs, but she couldn't even hear me.
Do you want to talk about it or?
Oh, it's just, I mean, I've said this on the podcast now for the third, but I went through a breakup 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
But I'm actually in a really good place. I'm in a really good place.
Just like Hannah on FaceTime with Jessa. No, I'm like, whatever. I don't even think about Adam anymore. But have you talked to him?
No, I'm doing no contact.
Mm-hmm.
It is so crazy that Jessa's like, yeah, and I talk to him 11 or 12 times a day. And Hannah's like, I'm actually feeling fine about that. I would be like, what do you mean?
But you know, they're not honest with each other like you guys.
She's doing Pilates. It's no worries.
I want to do Pilates. I've never done it.
It's not, you know what? It's not it's not going to fix your life. If you want to do Pilates, definitely do it, but it's not a cure for anything. I think people like to market it as like it's going to totally reinvent you.
Mm-hmm.
But
I do
no,
anything you said.
that work comes from within.
Do you really think so? Because I've been doing Pilates like 4 times a week all year, hoping it'll do something, and I thought it did.
I mean, do you think it has it?
No, I guess if we ask the real question, no.
People need to look inward. My whole thing for 2024 is joy and looking inward.
I love you having your whole thing.
You have to, especially because like being in this industry, you can become so like untethered and lose sight of like anything moral. So my whole thing for 2024, write it down: joy and looking inward. We need to stop calling people out so much. It's about looking within.
Oh, I'm really into that.
So
I just read a book, The Velvet Rage. It's all about gay shame. And they're always talking about how it's kind of your fault and don't be mean to people.
Please, for the love of God, be nice.
I know, I'm trying to be a lot nicer.
I think you know what? It's tough, especially like, I don't know. I mean, obviously you guys live in New York, but everyone thinks people in New York are mean. I saw a man fall over on the subway on my way over here. 3 people helped him up. I'm like, fuck you guys. New Yorkers are the nicest people. And we just want each other to succeed. We're just in a rush.
I do have a story to
Just in a
contrary that
rush.
though, not to be evil, but one time I went for a run with my dad around the Chelsea area because we were staying in a hotel for New Year's, and a woman collapsed in front of us. My dad said, "Keep running.
Does
It's
your
a
dad
trap."
live in New York?
My dad lived in New York for a while.
But he now goes to Boston 3 days a
then
week,
the
and
woman
that
was
changes
pulled-
someone.
Well, we came back around and a woman's being pulled away in an ambulance, and he thought it was a trap. But he also went to Paris a lot, and there's a lot of people that will try to trick you there.
Yeah, I think just remember where you are.
Mm-hmm.
That's my third thing for 2024.
Oh my god!
God.
We'll
Well,
make
now
an
we have an
infographic.
amazing question
Please
about-
for you.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really important.
Yeah. Okay,
You've kind of
perfect.
already answered this, though, but we have an amazing question.
Girl, what girl are you?
God, it's so hard. You know, it's sort of like Sex in the City. I'm just like, I'm a Gemini. So I have a lot of different facets to my personality. And I just feel like some days I wake up and I'm like being a Hannah. And then some days I wake up and I'm being a Marnie. And then, who's to say? It just depends. It depends on the weather. Depends on what work I'm doing that day. Depends on, if I'm canceling on someone or fulfilling plans. Like there's just so much going on.
Okay, is there two you're like feel the closest to?
You're like,
I would
give me
say
more.
probably Hannah and Marnie.
Okay, so
Like,
I just learned about this new technique where it's like when you're indecisive, you have to flip a coin and we'll put it on either side, and it doesn't matter where it lands, but in your head before it falls down, you'll know the answer to it.
yeah, because you know what you hope it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I guess of those
I was at a
two, I
quarter.
mean, everyone on Girls is flawed, which is nice. So if you align with anyone, it's like, well, there's pros and cons. But
Totally. Like, I don't feel like there's one girl that sticks out as too evil.
no, I think they're all a product, I think, of just I don't know. I've been thinking a lot more about how our families this is revolutionary that our families shape our personalities.
Yes.
I don't think anyone's ever said that before.
Was that 2023 or 2024?
This was 2020. This was
Yeah.
mid 2023.
You're
I
dropping
realize this.
too many things at once.
I know. I'm so sorry. Keep up, please. And you can take notes if you have to.
Listen
But
at half speed.
what I like about this show in comparison to Sex in the City is that there's a lot more parental involvement in the characters' lives. And you really see why these people are the way that they are.
I mean,
I know.
It's
I want to meet Charlotte's
complicated.
parents so bad.
I would have loved to see Charlotte at one of her weddings.
I
would have
know.
loved to see her at a baptism, maybe. And then, of course, we never really meet Miss Carrie's parents either.
Well, the Carrie Diaries were for that.
Yeah.
Oh, I need to rewatch that. I remember watching that and being like, Anna Sophia Robb is awesome.
She's fabulous. I'm wondering what's the next rewatch for you guys, because obviously this podcast will come to an end.
Well, I don't know if we'll say it here yet, but
Yeah.
Okay.
That's our big
Cool.
idea.
Cool. I think it's a great idea.
I think it'll be long enough that it'll be time.
Oh,
I'm so
you can
much
bleep
older
it
now.
though and create some buzz. Don't cut that. Just bleep it.
it. You're so smart.
You're so
I'm like,
executive girl boss.
I'm wearing my trousers today. These are
Yeah.
slacks. I wore slacks.
Well, we were like talking. We were like, we're so excited. Mary Beth is mean about it, and everyone's like, she's a businesswoman.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I like that. That's the perception. I guess in that way, I don't know. I'm none of the girls. None of the girls are very business savvy.
That is so
Yeah.
We
true.
can't look back and say that any of them are.
Wait,
business
I would
savvy.
have
They're
to
really not.
argue for my girls to Shauna Lee's Japan arc.
True.
One day.
Well, she did
No,
put
that's
love
important.
first, but she did go to Japan.
She so did. And Adie Bryant's
I know.
character arc was fabulous too.
I'm obsessed with Adie Bryant.
Yeah.
Bleep that.
Believe that. We don't want anyone to know.
You can't have that getting back to her. Evan, what girl are you this week?
Oh, let me ask you.
Oh,
Girl, what girl are you?
I am Hannah when she's sitting there being like, you guys don't like me. You don't like women. This is a feminist issue. Like anytime somebody is like not immediately loving my vibe, I'm like, so you hate all women.
Mhm.
It's not about me. It's actually about misogyny. What's happening?
yeah, it's not
Uh,
personal.
Yeah. I'm like,
It's actually people are projecting things onto you.
yeah, every single time it's never about me. And I have to remember that.
Yeah.
I
and run
love
with
the
that.
declarative statements. You're so good at them. We are really taking notes.
Anyone can do what I'm doing. That's what people don't tell you. Is that
Don't
you
tell
can
you
do
this.
this. You can do this too.
It's just so powerful because you don't think you can.
And then you do. And once you start doing it, you're like, oh my God, this is my new
You could get
personality.
away with it.
Hey, Amelia, we both have to try to make one declarative statement throughout this podcast.
Okay.
Yeah, and authoritative.
Okay. What girl are you?
Oh, I'm so Lige.
I know.
Okay. I didn't know we could dip into the guys.
We could.
You
If there's
can.
a guy in this episode that you're really loving, feel free.
I found something on Girls Wiki fandom it's called that I wanted to read a quote from because the
Please.
description of this episode was actually beautiful and poetic. And there's this one line that I love,
Your
which
camera's
is
bedazzled.
yeah, well, this is my biggest accessory. It says Elijah encourages Hannah to quit if she's not enjoying herself, admitting that he felt enormously relieved when he gave up his dreams of being a dancer. Like, that's just beautiful to me.
That's on Wikipedia Wiki?
It's on
Girl Wiki?
Girl Wiki, whatever. So
I have to say, Elijah said that, and I was like, I'm actually not going to be able to process like this line for a year at least.
yeah, take the time you need with it.
Yeah.
And Elijah is definitely one of my favorite characters. I feel like his relationship with that like newscaster guy was like so just like, what's the word? It was very
Hot.
like evocative and also just so rooted in truth, especially in New York, because anything can happen in New York. And you can just fall in love with a guy who's just like, I don't take you seriously. But thank you for showing me I need to be in a relationship.
Yeah.
Oh. Sorry.
Two.
Sorry.
Two on the nose.
No, I wasn't briefed. I was not briefed on the breakup. So I can't be held accountable.
No, it's cool.
Oh, your eyes are so
wonderful.
glittery today, Evan.
It's from tears. LOL.
So you're Elijah, perfect.
Well,
yeah.
just I feel like I would step into that school and then like be friends with all the people and like have to run around campus helping them.
I wrote in my notes, Evan is Elijah this episode.
Yeah,
I was
it's
like,
so
I don't have
me-coded.
to answer this question, but when he's like, I've nailed the selfie, it's time to turn the camera around and take photos of
So
everybody else.
funny.
Yeah, it happened to you literally a month ago.
Oh, it did, and then I broke my digital camera by dropping it one too many times.
It
No
happens.
statements about that.
All I'll say is, we're human. We make mistakes.
Okay, it's time to lean into Lena. We're diving into what do you think she was thinking when she sat down and wrote this episode?
Well, I'd imagine by season 4 of a show, which hardly shows these days ever make it to a season 4, you're just thinking like not every episode, because it said this in a couple of the reviews I read of this episode, like, you know how they do like recaps of shows? It just said that this episode, when it came out, probably didn't seem like it contributed that much to the show's overall arc. But then when you rewatch it looking back, it's very significant. So I feel like when you're writing on season 4 of a show, you're just like, okay, maybe this isn't gonna seem totally essential to like the viewers right now, but once it's like a completed work, it will.
Yeah.
And I feel like maybe she was thinking like, all right, we have to just like fill in some like story for these characters.
100%. Like, how do we get to, well, I don't want to ruin it, but like where Jessa heads next without this episode, I feel like is such a thing. And Shoshana's like post-grad life, like we have to see her really like be at a job interview like on her high horse and see what happens next.
It's a real set up the pins kind of episode.
Yeah. Well, everyone in this episode has like they make declarative statements. I think that a lot of this episode, I think to me is like breaking points. So Adam reaches a breaking point with Jessa. Lena or Hannah reaches a breaking point with her classmates where she's just like, I'm gonna tell you how I really feel. And then same with Marnie and Desi. And then honestly, like Shoshana at the job interview, it's like it's all about honest conversations.
There was a lot of honesty in this episode. I feel like if we think about, well, let's start with Shoshana because it's just her one scene. It's like she's graduating and she's like, yeah, I finished late, but I'm still like the smartest girl in the world and have everything going for me and everything's going to work out because I know that post-grad life is going to be better than anything I've ever done. And then she's like, of course, nailing her job interview, which also, I mean, is it of course? I'm surprised. The woman's
so
like
NYU student.
Oh,
this
yeah.
interaction is so like I lived in a city for 4 years already. I kind of know it's going on in Taylor Loft.
NYU students are so brave and confident and never shy.
Yeah, and I think for someone to try to get a job in like corporate America on the fashion side, I do feel like Shoshana has the right energy for that because you sort of need to be like excitable and she is a little bit unself-aware. And I think that does serve people sometimes in an interview. Sometimes you can really step in shit, but
Would she
sometimes
have liked
it's like-
Ann Taylor as someone who knows the business?
does she like Ann Taylor?
Do you think she would have liked it?
Oh, I think she probably would have bought a lot of jewelry there.
Mm.
And maybe like a cardigan every now and then. Or if she was prepping for a job interview, it's great for like business separates. So I think she would have been all over it.
I love it. I like all the vintage Ann Taylor stuff from my mom's bags from Marie Kondo she didn't actually give away.
Mm-hmm.
And I always take tops from there from Ann Taylor.
Yeah,
they're so
they
cute.
make great stuff.
I know.
And Loft was sort of like the, Madewell to J. Crew vibes.
Yeah. Every time I go into a loft, I'm like, this has nothing to do with me.
And that, but because you're a city dweller.
Yeah.
I think Anne is more on the side of like people that live like just outside the city.
Yeah.
That's
it's
really beautiful.
Westchester.
It's wet, and they need to
Westchester.
they need clothes.
They need
so I
clothes.
think it's fabulous. That they have
No,
that.
I'm glad I get their mission statement now, and I'm celebrating them.
Yeah.
Wait, I love Shosh. What's the woman's name? We never find out. I love her Tumblr cup.
I did clock that too.
Yeah.
Again, ahead of their time.
Ahead of their
I don't remember
time.
people using those at work. I had an office job at the time, and now you see them everywhere you go.
Well, Ann Taylor Loft
God.
knows what they're doing.
They do, and I really hope that was a branded cup. I didn't clock if it was or not, but I hope that they were given out to employees.
Oh, right.
Yeah, the thought of her spending $24 on it breaks my heart.
Yeah.
What she did with the resume was truly the funniest thing I've ever seen. She's like, oh, you can keep it. Of course, throws it into trash difficultly.
Yeah, immediately.
It's a really such a good classic Shoshana scene to like really show her ego without the T.
She's
for
coming
ego.
into her power in that scene.
Yeah, I'm actually like to wear her hair like that and be so confident. I'm like, I wish when I was 22. I wish I could say I was that girl, but my first job at a startup when I was 22, they were like, we'll pay you shit. You're actually going to take on 4 people's jobs and you're going to love it, right? And I was like, thank you so much for this opportunity.
Yeah, well, we're always thankful for the opportunity.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have had the confidence but I didn't go to NYU, so.
BC is in a city somewhere almost.
What's crazy is that it's actually not. So it's called Boston
Chestnut.
College, but it's not in Boston. It's outside
Wait,
Boston.
and you left in the middle? You were like, this has nothing to do with me.
Yeah, I said it's not for me.
Oh my God.
It's not for anyone at these days, but we were forced to do it.
And I was sort of spearheaded that. So I take a lot of credit for those that have
Yeah.
dropped out of college. Since I dropped out, they're all copying me. So
I believe that to be
Yeah.
true, 100%.
yeah. And it was great to walk out with my head held high. I didn't fail out or anything. I was just like,
Mhm.
I don't like it.
Yeah, I mean,
You don't
also
have to do
BC,
stuff
what I
if you
hear
don't
is
like it.
bad.
I had no idea about that. I like hated college and I was like, but there's no other options, obviously. So
I just transferred.
Yeah, that's something people do.
Uh-huh.
I considered it.
Yeah.
Ultimately just said,
wait,
I
were
don't
you
need
like,
it.
I'm gonna go be a businesswoman there?
No, I basically was like, I thought I was going to transfer to Parsons. And then I applied and got in, but I took one online class there while I was like in between. And I just was like, I hate this too. So then I luckily got a job at a really small, early stage company. And I was like, all right, I'll just I'll be businesswoman.
Well, once you get one of those, it's like, we're kind of good.
Yeah.
It's hard just to get one of those. So
Yeah. I knew someone that worked there. So that was helpful. But yeah, I have no regrets. I thought I was going to like quit school and be a makeup artist or work in fashion. And then the company was like, it was sort of tangential to fashion. But then 4 years after that, I started doing comedy, inspired by, of course, Broad City.
No way.
Yeah, I signed up for UCB.
Wait.
Oh my God.
So
Oh my
you'll-
God. Were
yeah.
you learning the Herald and you were like, I love my little life?
I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna totally blow up my whole life and just be a comedian.
Oh my God.
that is beautiful.
Are you looking back and you're like, this is the perfect choice, no regrets?
I think it was definitely the perfect choice, no regrets. Some moments I'm like, I wish I never did that because I'm like, it's hard. And obviously there's so much you don't know about it when you first start and how hard it is. But I definitely think I'm doing like the right thing.
Oh, you are
That's
doing the
beautiful
right
to
thing. I
hear.
can tell you
Never could
that.
have predicted though.
Never could
When you
predict.
sign up for Improv 101, you never think like this is going to redirect the course of my life.
Yeah, I'm in 102 right now, and it is redirecting the course of my life.
Okay. Look, sometimes you have to get to 102 and then you take a long hard
It's
look.
beautiful. I love Marnie's whole thing this episode where she's like, you know what? It's kind of always so funny because you're ever dating 2 people and you like always prefer one more. You're like so tempted to bring the other one up in that person's presence and like complain about them.
Yeah.
And then for Ray to be there and then get that and then experience be like, yeah, we can still FUCK.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that guy, I get why
Ray
it's my
was
dad's favorite
charming.
character.
Yeah, Ray was charming by being like, any guy who doesn't ditch their girlfriend for you is not worth your time. And then, yeah, he's kind of genius for that because Marnie's so easily persuaded.
Yeah, I think this was definitely, I mean, both of the romantic entanglements that she's in at this current moment in the show are just very rooted in truth.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
We all know this girl, and I celebrate her.
I celebrate her because I know it's not permanent for her.
Yeah, I'm like, she's really gonna be like so fine when she's 28 or 29, probably.
Maybe even 30.
Maybe 30.
It takes some late bloomer, but for her to be sleeping with her like bandmate who also has a girlfriend, and then sort of be fucking her friend's guy who's not really her friend's guy, it's just like that situation in New York is like, it comes up more than you think.
Yeah, I feel like everybody's like, Marnie sucks. I can't believe she's like this. She's such a mistress. And I'm like, I actually know like 30 or 40 girls like this, and they're really sweet at the end of the day, and they're trying their best.
They just want validation.
Yeah.
I'm an apologist for all of them, but I think Marnie definitely, she doesn't do herself any favors, but she's doing the best she can. I have to believe that.
I always see her as a Rory Gilmore if she like post-grad style.
Yeah.
It's like Rory, we get to see in season.
If Rory pursued pop stardom.
Yeah. It's like Rory's doing really well for the first 2 years after college, and then everything goes to shit.
Yeah.
And it's like actually what happens in Gilmore Girls seasons. So it's just something really interesting. And you can also, all the boys that Rory dates are kind of parallel kind of to Marnie's guys.
Yeah.
They should totally do a girls seasons, and Amy Sherman Palladino should be in charge of it.
Oh,
and Sutton Foster should be in it for 10 minutes.
Yeah. That would be ideal. I'm a huge Sutton head after seeing Younger. I watched the whole
Biggest
series.
show.
Don't get Evan started with Younger.
I could talk about it all day.
I mean, it's just a really good show.
They reunited my family. We were all dispersed, and we would all every single week sit down and watch an episode of Younger
That's
together.
really fun. It was it was just well written. I said there's young people in that writer's room. I can tell by the way they're talking about social media.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell there's young people there.
And publishing,
and we
even.
should have that in writers' rooms about young people.
Hire
more young people.
We'll clip that.
Yeah.
It'll blow up.
That's my big platform is that we should stop hiring old people. Yeah.
They don't know anything.
Yeah.
Not the ones I meet.
No, yeah.
They
It's
think
hard.
they know too much.
Some of them don't even know how to listen to a podcast. So
That's so tough.
My-
It's so tough to try to explain that.
I know. Both of our parents, both of us have one parent listening to the podcast currently.
mm-hmm.
And it was like trials and tribulation trying to even get them to open the app.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not saying they can't learn. And obviously, like, older people should be like, running the place. But I think there should be young voices as well. Balance. That's all I'm saying.
I have full body chills.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be an explosive episode.
Yeah. Oh my God. Biden's going to reach out, I bet.
Listen with care, listen responsibly.
Yeah. Do we think Marnie, they get to go back to the place now? Or they're like, we don't want you to meet Marcus at all? I
think it was like, okay. Yeah, well, don't call us, we'll call you sort of situation.
Fuck.
No,
and then
it works out.
Marnie sits down and begs Desi to be her girlfriend, and he's like, no.
Oh, that speech is beautiful.
He's like, we need to figure out what you want. And she's like, I know what I want.
I love that. I declared a statement. Very Mary Beth coded.
Very me. So I guess I'm feeling kind of Marnie today.
What's your thoughts on Desi's speech?
I don't remember.
So it's
I
like
don't
you're
retain.
young, you're hot.
Yeah, it's like.
I just remember being like
talented.
mad at him watching it. I don't remember what he said, but I remember how he made me feel, and it was bad.
It's just a bunch of bullshit, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm like,
hot air.
You need to make a choice.
I know, but those eyes.
I know, and he's a great character actor. Love him. Love the guy. But
love the guy.
And being so good at the character, I'm like, you're an asshole.
Well, that's how you know he's good.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I don't remember what happens next. That was something that was interesting.
Yeah,
this is a starting line for some of the characters.
It's so Wikipedia. It's so wiki episode because it's like this is really a setup for a lot of it. I had to watch this episode 3 times, which I haven't done yet for a specific episode.
Yeah.
Just because I kept getting confused on what the hell's happening. I mean, it's because none of their stories are connected. So it's actually really hard to pay attention for a single second.
The Zoom calls of it all makes it so hard, and it reminds you like COVID.
I know.
Which we definitely don't want to think about.
No.
Hannah would have loved remote work. She would never gone to Iowa.
Yeah. I think what I liked about this episode and sort of the grad school arc is like grad school is kind of like fake.
Oh, 100%.
Well, her being like, I have class once a week. I'm like, then you could live in Brooklyn still,
Right,
and
and
actually go to Iowa once a week and be way better off.
Do you guys have any friends that have done grad school?
Yeah. So what I'm noticing for grad school, it's either like really scientific, serious, or it's MBA party every single day. My brother went to visit my cousin her first week of MBA program. He's like, it's crazier than college. They're all like, I have to go to this party, so I'll come meet you at this party later. And it's like, oh, but you're all 29 years old running around with Post-it notes with parties on it.
Well, and it's like every other week they go on a big international trip. And I don't understand how that's teaching you about business, but
oh, she just went to Panama.
I saw a friend who I hadn't seen in years because we were both in Mexico City. I was there with friends. He was like, "Oh, I'm just here with my class." They were just going out like getting drunk, and I was like, "Okay."
Sounds magical.
I guess I'm not seeing the connection. But it's just your classmates. So what's there? I mean, you guys know each other.
I think it's supposed to be for networking vibes. Where it's like these people might hire you one day, so let's get drunk with them. Let's have a really, really good time, so you can get a consulting job. Also, drop when Clementine is a consultant. I'm like, the girl has an autoimmune disorder and a consultant. Pick one.
Yeah, pick one personality. I can't even speak on it. It's just like it's dizzying.
I think there's a real culture in Brooklyn, and it's cool to get to see this 10 years earlier, where everyone has like an artsy friend group and then that one friend who's a consultant. And it's like, that's Clementine. And you don't always know. And then you start talking to them. You're like, what the hell are you working at McKinsey for, girl?
Oh, totally. And that's like very jarring. But I guess I don't know. Because I was going to say, I guess we need consultants. But do we?
No, the whole thing is we don't.
No one can like point to what they do.
And I've asked multiple consultants who kind of like own condos in a city somehow.
Yeah.
Like how they made this happen, and they can't explain.
They're just like, you wouldn't get it. And it's like, you're not even going to try?
Well, I don't think they know. I think that's the problem.
It's defense.
They're like, I'm going to a company and I'm chatting and I made a slide deck. And
and there's spreadsheets too. I know there's spreadsheets.
Okay, that actually comforts me a little bit.
Yeah. What's in the spreadsheets? I don't know.
Really
I'm assuming numbers of some kind and maybe some formulas, but it's just, I'm not really sure. I just wonder what would happen. It's like, you know how they're trying to like eradicate mosquitoes? Like scientists might just like kill all of them. So there's no more mosquitoes because they're the deadliest animal to humans. They're trying it out in like smaller areas to see what the like economic and like environmental impact is. I just wonder what would happen if all the consultancies just like went away. I'm not saying we kill them, but like let's just place them in other jobs. Like what would happen?
Nothing.
I would love to do research data on that, qualitative and quantitative.
And put it in an Excel sheet for me to read later, girl. And a PowerPoint.
Like let's do it in smaller cities and just see if we took all the consultants out of their roles.
Yeah.
Just see what happens like economically and environmentally. And we'll see, because I think it's worth trying.
I'm open to that opportunity. I'm just going to put that in the ether.
Wait,
Okay.
what kind of autoimmune disorder is it though? When you get angry, you get a fever?
I don't know if that's real. I think it's sort of, I mean,
that might be where it goes sketch comedy for a second.
yeah. I also know a lot of people that have self-proclaimed autoimmune disorders.
I mean, everyone.
I'm getting a diagnosis before I'm telling anyone anything. I had a parasite and I made sure that I got the positive culture back before I told people it was a parasite.
You had mono 4 times.
Something like that.
I cannot believe something like that would happen to you. It doesn't feel good.
It doesn't feel good, but at least, you can name it.
Yeah, that is power.
It happened to me, and I'm, when people are like, oh, I have strep. And it's like, did you go get a strep culture, Missy?
Mm-hmm.
It's
Or if they
so
have COVID,
Hannah-coded.
Did you take a test?
Right.
I need to know if it's real.
You're like, forward me the email confirmation.
I would like to see it.
I don't want anyone to get mad at me, but I am watching Young Sheldon right now. That's the plot point of half the episodes, is that he thinks he has something going on.
Okay.
And then he doesn't.
Hypochondriac
He's
alert.
hypochondriac.
Which can be very powerful narratively, but I think some people use it a bit too much in real life.
I agree, but everybody's trying to really make a story of their lives right now. Well, always, but especially now.
Now more than ever.
Yeah.
Well, that brings us to Hannah.
Grad school, you don't believe in it that much?
Obviously med school is different. Don't come for me if you're a doctor, because obviously you need schooling and things like that. Nursing school, PA school, all that stuff, super
Do
important.
you think lawyer?
Lawyers, yes, because they have to like learn a bunch of stuff. But I think specifically, and look, if you go to grad school for literature and you come out with a book, that's obviously worth the money because you've been like forced to write it. If you're going to go to get your MBA, I just think like that's crazy. But this is coming from a
That's
college
where all
dropout.
consensus. It's like the NBA is crazy.
NBA to me is just like, it's frivolous.
It's frivolous to me if you're already living in a major city. If you're living in like the biggest town in the randomest state, it's like, I guess what else is there to do? Like maybe that could be useful.
I don't know, like go work for a nonprofit. I don't
That's
like,
true.
you know, it just like do something else.
There's ways around it.
There's ways.
Well, my
There's
cousin did
things.
it because she's consultant and she wanted career change to a different kind of consulting, I think.
And you need 2 years of schooling for that and hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Mimi, you tell us.
If you want to break from your job and your company's paying for it, I think that's different. But I know that's not the case for everyone.
Yeah, true.
If your company's
tell me
paying
it
for it.
is.
I just know too many people who are like, I'm going to NYU to learn to write and I am 27. And it's like, I think there's other things that could you do.
I agree. Yeah. Academia is not for me.
Yeah.
So I can't speak on it.
And
but
it's not for Hannah, clearly.
no.
The
Mennonite. But my heart
The
goes
Mennonite
out to her. Yeah. And she's having to really, you know, I think the scene where she's like ripping her classmates a new one is just so, it's one of those scenes where I'm like, oh, but it's so good.
It's so secondhand embarrassment just because it's like, I thought maybe one of them would be like, LOL, you're kind of funny, girl. But all of them were like, and you should commit suicide, by the way.
Right.
Why
And
should
none
you
of them
always
give
do
it
that?
back to her, which I think she was expecting, like, okay, now you guys like roast me. And they were just like, the worst, most severe roast is to say nothing.
Well,
I
this
mean,
is how
she literally
left,
had to swim out of there.
She slithered.
Well, this is how she left GQ as well. Like, she left her GQ job by blowing up at everyone individually
Yeah.
and roasting their ass and then dropping a mic, even Jenna Lyons, and got the hell out of there.
It's giving
And-
motif.
Yeah, it's motif. Like, her whole thing is, I'm like, what? And she kind of does it to her friends again when they go to the beach house. They all have a blow up where they all kind of like point fingers at each other. Like, in real life, I think we all are like, we have these things we would love to say to our friends when they're pissing us the hell off. And that's the amazing part of this show is that you can finally get to hear what someone's really thinking.
Yeah. And I think, and there's an alarm just started because you said that. That's
Definitive statement.
Yeah, a definitive statement. I think it's what happens when you just let things build over time. Instead, I mean, this is pretty quick because these are new friends, but
Mhm.
I feel like it, you know, it's kind of powerful to just watch someone like say exactly what they think, and she wasn't wrong. I didn't think she was
No,
wrong.
And I don't think she was like mean for the sake of being mean. Like, I think she had really thought through each person's thing and was giving like honest feedback and maybe a perspective that they would benefit from hearing.
They're so funny too. The Gaysian one, it's like, you are a wildly trendy Gaysian, but your whole poem is kind of a winky face emoji quickly followed by a poop emoji. Like, that's the funniest thing I've ever
I would
fucking
love for
heard.
somebody to give me feedback like that, honestly. I'm begging for it.
They're all so good.
But I guess we're building to her being like, I can't stay in grad school, which I think is probably good.
I mean, did anyone think Iowa was gonna last?
Well, we had our hopes.
Of course we had hopes, but I think you can't put a girl like Hannah Horvath in Iowa.
You can't put a show about navigating your 20s in New York City in
Iowa.
Iowa.
Doesn't work.
They tried.
It's like when they tried to move Carrie to Paris. Just
It's
doesn't.
like, you
can't
know
work.
they're gonna have to go. I always get so sad when a TV show does that, and I'm like, because then we have to have 4 episodes that we hate and never want to think about again. But we had to do that so they could learn something. I'm like, there's got to be a better way, writers.
I think they had a lot of money to play with, so they're like, why not go to Iowa too? Lena wanted to flex the muscle.
It
But
worked.
For season 4, let's go shoot at Iowa by, like, is that Vassar College?
I
can't tell
don't
where they
know what's in
filmed it.
Iowa, but it was. I mean, what? She has a humongous house.
Oh,
So
So
that's
big,
cool.
only
Gorgeous.
$800 a month. Miss it.
I miss that. And then the whole thing where she literally ends it all by riding off with a Meta Knight.
I mean, that is funny. That is Broad City.
That is Broad City. It's sketch comedy.
Yeah, I love when it goes from like serious to like one little silly, something so silly that you're like, you're having fun with your boy Judd, girl.
Yeah, they're thinking, they're pitching, they're taking swings.
It is crazy that she writes it all herself. Well, maybe that's normal, but to me that seems crazy.
I looked, and this episode did say written by someone else.
Yeah, there's like
Oh,
one or two.
Jenny Conner.
No.
It was someone else
I forgot
whose
her
name I
name.
forget.
Okay, perfect. We'll link her in the description.
Well, I have it on the wiki fandom thing.
Oh,
you
you're
can
too good.
edit this part where I'm Googling. But I have it.
What else did
right.
Hannah go through? I mean, I wish we could see one more class. One
Okay,
more
you
workshop.
ready?
I know.
This episode of Girls was written by Sarah Hayward and directed by Jesse Peretz.
Ooh.
And clap it up for them.
Clap it up for
There's a
them.
lot of
They
like
did great
audience
work.
participation this episode.
Yeah, it's like Blue's Clues.
Yeah.
Like we can't see it, but we know that it's happening.
Yeah. Okay, last girl we gotta lean into, Miss Jessa. She's almost 4 months sober. We're so happy for her.
Huge win.
It's her birthday. Maybe at Chuck E. Cheese.
And then unfortunately, the Intersaboteur comes out and she does talk back to some cops again ahead of her time.
Ahead of her time. When she goes off on the cops, I'm like, I mean, everybody stole her whole thing in 2020, did they not?
They did, and nobody cited that source.
Nobody's citing that source.
She made good points. You can't say Jessa didn't make any good points.
The way Ray was like, I actually love police when he picked them up, I was like, you're canceled, honey.
Yeah, he couldn't get away with that today.
No.
I love Adam being like, and she's foreign. And it's like, well, she has lived here for 25 years. But I love when you're foreign because you can really get away with a lot more just by acting dumb.
Yeah. I mean, peeing outside, I think, is maybe universal that you can't do that in big cities or else you'll get in trouble. But as someone who's definitely peed on the street my fair share of times, there's not that many places to go. And businesses really don't want you to go in there. So
Exactly.
MP. So sometimes you have no choice.
They actively are like telling you not to.
Pretty much, yeah.
So
you
this
don't
girl
even
had no
enter and they're
choice.
just like, don't even try.
Yeah. I also love like her little speech was like, there's the closest one is 7 blocks away. Like, is there not an entire movement on TikTok about that statement?
Literally.
Like Jessa really invented the wheel.
Yeah, there's a TikTok account like free bathrooms NYC. And it's this woman who like goes to every free bathroom in New York City and then rates and reviews them.
Look, what businesses maybe don't understand is that you could get an impromptu sale. If you let people in your restaurants pee, they smell the delicious food. They might get some fries on the way out.
Yeah.
They might buy a water or, a soda. It's like, I'm happy to do that if I can use the bathroom. But when it's so like, they're screaming at you before you even get in there, it's like, do not come in here because the bathroom is for customers. It's like, well, that's hostile.
Well, they're going to
It's
clean it
hostile.
anyway.
Also, they're just most of the time it's just people that really have to pee.
Maybe be nice to the community that you're part of.
I think so.
Love you small businesses anyway, though.
We love shopping local and
We
small
love
businesses.
shopping local. It's so important. Definitive statement.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Do we think that at this point Jessa is like, I kind of like Adam and want to date him, or not even yet?
I think she does probably see him as I think it's like I really believe Jessa sees every man and potentially every woman as like a sexual being that she could be with.
I know when she
Totally.
manipulates that one guy, it's like I told him to replace God with my name, and now I'm the only thing between him and a crack pipe.
Yeah. It's she's got a lot of power. She's got a lot of sexual power.
I know, and she's like the whole thing. It's like, should I throw Hannah's magnets away? She's like, I hate it when white people date.
That was funny. I thought that was really good and funny.
Was that ahead of its time, or behind its time?
I am just gonna always say it's ahead.
It's ahead.
It definitely wasn't of the time.
I did not like her outfit though.
Oh, her little t-shirt,
I
her
hate-
Heather Gray.
Yeah, cotton shirts like that.
But what was it? A t-shirt? I can't remember what it was, but it was like a graphic tee that was surprising.
Yeah,
It wasn't Wu-Tang Clan. It was like Run DMC or something.
Yeah, I think you're right.
It was something like that where it just fell out of character. But I'm sure it's someone else's shirt that she stole. So
Maybe
in that way,
she's-
it's like very rooted in truth for that character.
Oh,
It
do you
feels
think
like
the
she's
Shaq
trying to be
shirt?
guy's girl to befriend Adam.
Potentially.
Mm.
And I'm not saying that Jessa wouldn't listen to Wu-Tang Clan or Run DMC. It just, she doesn't usually wear like graphic tees. She's usually in like a billowy dress where you can see her like whole like ass and tits.
We saw her
Or
ass this
kimono.
episode. That was so fun. I wonder if she really had that tan at that time.
Probably.
I would guess, yeah.
Yeah. Or, it's a fun little detail they wrote in the stage direction. And then makeup comes in. They say, all right, well, we got to.
This would be fun.
Movie
This
magic.
is what happens to girls.
This is what happens to girls. I mean, the whole thing, the big trend right now is that people are doing fake sunburns. So again, ahead of her
Yeah.
time.
She's
Wow.
a
What can we say?
genius.
She's really a genius.
Also, being sober ahead of its time. It's like way more
Everyone's
common
sober
now.
now.
Yeah.
Not everybody was sober in 2014.
No.
That is a big touchstone of this podcast that everyone is sober now.
Well, I've been sober. I'm about to break my sobriety in a few days.
Oh,
So,
really? How
yeah.
long? For how long?
Vacation.
I just wanted to take 5 months off. And
Mhm.
so I'm like 4 and a bit. And so I'm going to drink on Saturday. So it's pretty exciting
Oh
for
my
me.
God.
I don't have a drinking problem. I just wanted to take some time off.
I did that for 1 month this year and it taught me nothing.
You have to, unfortunately, I didn't really feel a difference till it was more than a month. So also, if you like drinking and you have fun, then you don't need to take a break.
Right. Sometimes I'm like, maybe I'll do this because I've heard it's been a problem for other people and this fixes everything. And then I'm like, maybe it actually has nothing to do with me.
Look, again, I would just say look inward.
Right.
Just because Pilates works for some people doesn't mean.
Yeah.
And that's okay. We just gotta
work for some people.
I really have to look in. I'm really realizing as we say here.
But at least you're doing that. Like I think some of the girls, they weren't looking inward that much. And if they did, they maybe would have made different choices.
It is like these girls aren't looking inward almost ever. But Hannah might for a brief second in a few episodes. So we
don't know. It's impossible to say.
It's impossible to say.
Do you think they're journaling?
No.
These are girls not journals.
Hannah's pre-writing by making brownies.
Exactly.
Girl, get your Glock. It's rapid fire time.
Oh my God, I'm scared. I'm really scared.
Scary.
We're going to ask so many questions so quick. Just say whatever comes to mind. No pressure at all.
Okay, I'm ready.
Why is Marnie mad at you?
Because I didn't give back her tank top.
Are you a voice of a generation or a voice of a generation?
A voice of a generation.
What does the letter A make you think of?
Apples. I like Honeycrisp the best.
Is comic retribution witchcraft?
Cosmic.
Comic?
No.
No, it's not. Is there a ball to get rolling?
Always.
Do you think it's fine if Adam throws all out Hannah's magnets?
No.
Do you have anxiety or did you just roll your hair?
Both.
Both.
Do you think Dakota Fanning wants to be Dakota Fanning?
Yes.
What is your Amish bonnet?
My Amish bonnet is probably this like fur headband that I bought, and it's real fur, and I'm problematic. But it's fine.
God, nobody can cancel you for that.
She thrifted it.
Sure. I always say the animal died of natural causes.
Fuck, marry, kill. Ray, Desi, Adam.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So I would probably kill Ray. I'm so sorry, but that's how I feel. And then I would fuck Desi and I guess, marry Adam. I mean, he does get his shit together eventually.
He does. And he's tall.
Yeah.
Okay. What would Hannah say to you in a roast battle?
That I look like the type of girl who wears makeup when I work out.
Is public urination fine when Jessa does it?
I think it's fine when mostly anyone does it except dogs outside my building.
Absolutely.
They shouldn't be doing that.
And what makes you worm off a couch?
Oh God. Dog hair.
Yeah.
Dog hair.
You're
I don't like
anti-dog.
that. I love dogs. I don't need their hair all over my stuff.
Would you ever be a dog owner?
I am not sure. I can't say. But if I got a dog, it would be one that has short hair that doesn't shed. Because I think it doesn't fit with my lifestyle to have a dog that sheds.
Well, you're at 3 Coast right now, so
I'm tri-coastal. I live in a studio, and I don't want to go outside when I don't want to. So dogs for me, it's not time.
No, I hate to say this, but most dogs in the city are not being treated that well.
No, and their shit is everywhere.
Their shit is everywhere.
It's like
that's
I have
not
to see
okay.
dog shit every single day,
and sometimes human shit. So and I'm not blaming people that have to shit outside because probably our society, our government's not taking care of them.
Absolutely.
Dogs, that's on you guys.
that there is a fix on that one.
My famous platform, and this is another declarative statement for the podcast, is you can't have a hobby and a dog.
Agreed.
That's so true. Anybody we know that gets a dog, it ruins their stand-up comedy career.
And so I say dogs for everyone because we got too many stand-up comedians.
Right. You're like, make it end.
Yeah.
We have one more segment of the podcast.
That outfit in Brooklyn. That's when we compare Brooklyn then versus Brooklyn now.
Okay, cool.
I feel like we always already hinted at it, but top of mind and Taylor Loft, the whole everything about the jewelry wall, the tumbler, the whole aesthetic. What is that now, would we say?
Like the equivalent of that?
Yeah.
I would say
Real fur headbands.
Pinterest
that's so
board?
hard. Oh, I mean, wait, so what are we comparing?
We're basically comparing like the
Accessory
giant
wall.
necklace wall. What would that wall be now if we cut to that scene in 2023?
Oh, the tiniest, daintiest rings that like you
Yeah.
actually can't even see. That's how thin they are, is that you can't see them, but they cost $200.
That's
Literally.
always happening. I'm always like, that's so cute. And they're like, I bought it for $9 million.
And it dissolves in water.
Yeah.
So
I know. I keep going to boutiques around Bushwick or Brooklyn, and then all the rings. I'm like, oh, I just bought this off Shein last week,
yeah, but you shouldn't buy stuff from Shein.
and I'm not.
Shein is really bad.
It is.
It's really bad, and we know that. We know
that.
Marnie and Desi's music being folk, indie. Do you think it would be something so much different now?
I do. I don't know what it would be, but I think it wouldn't be folk. It would be more pop.
I fear it might be a little Charlie XCX.
Right, but you haven't seen straight guy and straight girl do that yet.
Yeah, which
I
maybe they
guess
could
that's true.
have a. They wouldn't, but maybe they could put a spin on it of some
No, I
kind.
actually think it'd still be indie.
It would still be really indie. I just think it would be like they would
Pine
be
Grove.
trying to figure out what would go viral and just get missing the mark.
Yeah, they'd be really bad at TikTok, but really thinking it'll change everything.
Well, that's what I was thinking. So they would never have that meeting today because you need at least like 20K on TikTok in order to even talk to a record label, and
If
they
not
would not
more.
be able to manage
I
that.
feel like Marnie's personality wouldn't do well online.
No, but she might go
Oh.
viral for people not liking her.
Her apology video would go viral.
Definitely.
Yeah, she'd have that thing
For
where like
all the wrong reasons.
all the
Yeah.
wrong reasons.
She'd be calling YouTube.
She'd be that ABCDEFG girl,
Yeah.
whatever her name
Oh,
is.
when
F-E-
she got caught.
that everyone hates her.
Oh, because it was like manufactured.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did see that.
I think that's honestly impressive and good marketing degrees.
But cover your tracks. Come
But
on,
cover your
guys. Create a
tracks.
burner account. Don't have it from the record label, girl.
Don't make it
so
too
easy to track.
obvious.
I love her.
Miss her. I hope she comes
10
out with a
seconds ago.
numbers song 1 through 9.
That's the last note of the podcast. Would love for that girl to come with a number song.
No, yeah, Cop's different now. I feel like,
Are they?
I feel like Ray would be like into it and be like, I'm glad you got arrested.
I think Ray is like a libertarian.
Yeah.
So take from that what you will. But I think he would be like really, really educated. So arguing with him would be kind of frustrating because he would make good points, but that were ultimately like he doesn't see the humanity enough.
Right.
That's
I
the
see him
problem
as like
with
the REI
libertarians.
picket line.
Yeah.
That's where I can mostly see.
REI picket.
Yeah, I feel like he'd find himself there.
Yeah. And we still learn from those people, but
Oh, 100%.
we don't agree with them. So
Oh.
Yeah, you're so wild.
And
I
now
can't get over how it won't stop. It won't
but I could be
end.
wrong. What if everything I'm saying is wrong?
No,
But
you're
you
right.
say it so confidently, so it has to be right.
I know. I'm like,
Half
you
the
could just
battle.
be spewing lies, and I'd be like, I'm gonna keep that in mind every day forever.
Well, I am 32. Like I've lived.
Right? You know
So-
more than us for sure.
I know stuff about stuff. I don't know everything, but I like what I know so far. I'm enjoying
wow.
I'm enjoying the experience, but I'm always learning. I'm not that smart like academically, so I'm just like cool.
You are.
Mm.
Don't worry.
Don't
doesn't
worry.
really
Let's
matter.
just say I wouldn't volunteer to take the SAT anytime soon.
No,
I
mean,
know.
and I did leave the ACT in the middle crying because it was too much pressure.
It's a lot of pressure.
I was like, I can't, and then I had to move to Canada to like avoid test scores because they don't care about
the country. Oh, where'd you go, McGill?
Ryerson in Toronto.
Okay, I only know McGill.
Yeah, I know, and nobody ever knows. Ryerson actually renamed itself.
That's
Mm.
cool.
Yeah,
they chose a new
rebrand.
name. So what? Don't dead name them. Don't tell me what it
Yeah.
used to be called.
Sorry. I went to Toronto Metropolitan. It's amazing there. I was sad for 4 years and then had to leave. Recommend it to anybody looking for that.
And then that's where we end the podcast.
And that's where we end the podcast. Mary
Hey,
Beth,
thank you so
you've
much
been
for
heaven
being
on earth.
My pleasure.
I feel like we've both been shy because we're literally starstruck.
Stop.
You're like one of the original brunettes in this town.
And no one gives me credit for
I-
that. So thank you for
everybody's
putting that
saying
on the
that.
record. No,
Actually,
it's crazy.
Everybody's saying it.
And I felt empowered by the 4 brunettes that stand before us.
Yeah.
You know.
Wait, but Marnie's blonde this episode for some unknown reason.
Yeah, hair continuity, it's not that important in shows. I realize when I watch the Kardashians. It doesn't need to be sequential. Like no one ever said life was linear.
Right.
No one ever
Actually,
said
people are
life was
constantly
linear.
arguing the opposite. So, guys,
Oh.
everybody see Mary Beth at the Bell House in
January 26th.
We'll be back.
27th
7th,
even.
no, it's
Don't
the
come on the
20 don't
26th.
come on the
I will
26th.
not be there.
I'll be there.
You know, I went
I'm not
on
doing
when I first
anything.
moved to New York City. I went to a first date at your show, and it was like like
What?
early post-COVID era.
What show?
It was like your 1 hour work in progress.
Oh my God. That was probably really bad.
Loved it.
Okay, good.
You had the sweetest little video of you as a young girl, and I was like, everything's gonna be magical in this town.
and I hope it has been.
And it has been.
Wait, did you get to a second date with the guy?
No, but we did have. He was obsessed with you.
Oh, interesting.
Which he's never seen a comedy show. Like he doesn't know anything. And I was just like, oh, you want to go to this show at this bar? And then we did watch like a very specific hour of comedy.
Yeah, very unpolished. Well, I hate to think what he now is a fan of comedy wise, because sometimes you see like men are just so easily swayed. I'm like, who's he watching on YouTube?
Right.
Let's check in.
There's no way to contact him, but we had an amazing time. It was a 7-hour date, and then I never saw him again.
Really?
And honey, that's New York.
And that's New York City.
Beautiful. Now that's where
and
we
that's
end
the
the
pod.
podcast.
Bye. We'll be back next week with episode 4. Love y'all.